Hey guys and gals, this is Trevor with InvestorCarrot, coming at you with another case study. This one's a little bit different. This is actually a case study update. We've had David on, I don't remember when it was, probably about a year ago, and we've been connecting quite a bit, and we thought, you know what, let's hop on and do another call where we can walk through what David has done in the past year, or whenever it was when we did the previous call. And we actually are linking up the previous call below this one if you're looking at it on our website. And that way you can go back and see his whole story, how he got started as an investor, everything, and what he was doing then. This one's going to be an update, but also we're going to dive into some really cool things on this call about showing where his leads are coming from, but also walking through the metrics or the numbers on why what he is doing is so effective and so the return on investment is so high with the type of marketing that he's leveraging using Carrot. So, David, welcome on in, man, and it's good to have you back.
Yeah, Trevor, good to be back. Thanks for inviting me back to do another case study with you.
No, for sure, for sure. And guys, as you probably see on the little recording thing here, I'm pointing at it right there. That David's last name is not Berwan. It's actually David Brown. So if you guys want to Google him, or and there's actually an E at the end of that too, so that's not right. That happened in the sign-up process, I think, in this webinar. His name is David Brown, and we'll give you guys his contact info here later, his personal blog, so you guys can check out what he's doing and follow him here in a bit. But yeah, why don't we start right here, David? So you've been a Carrot member for, and I'm going to kind of pull this out of thin air, about a year and a half now, I think, around there.
Yeah, on or about, yep.
Yeah, right around there. And David definitely has an interesting background. He has a background that most people, most investors don't have, and he does understand the technology side very, very well. He has had and still does, I believe, to an extent, develop websites for real estate investors, and that's something that he's done for years and very, very good at it. And he grew a really good following with that. And we were fortunate enough to have him come over to InvestorCarrot about a year and a half ago, and he's been crushing it ever since. So, David, why don't you give people kind of your what do you do, who are you, and what's your quick 60-second version of how you got started in investing that's led you to today?
Yeah, I mean, I got started in real estate originally, like I mentioned on my last case study, as a real estate agent. Found some mentors along the way and got into wholesaling, which I still do to this day. I'm self-employed. I've been living on a commission basis or doing my own deals since I got out of college. And let's say 2 years ago, I stopped. Actually, before 2 years ago, I was doing other websites for real estate investors. So I did up to 50 custom websites built on what's called the WordPress platform, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of WordPress before. And it's a very time-consuming process doing this for other people, and it can be quite tedious. I was doing this for my own business, right, to generate leads and get online exposure for myself, but I found a niche, and I was able to provide a service to other people as well. And that's when I found InvestorCarrot, and I was just blown away by the service that you guys are offering. And it made a lot of sense for me to kind of basically stop what I was doing and move everything over to this, just because it's leveraging a system, leveraging you guys as far as you testing and tweaking and changing things, so it's really advantageous to the average investor just to plug in and have a website that's built correctly to generate leads. A lot of people I found in the past, like clients of mine that I was working with, they were more concerned about how a website looked as opposed to how it performed, and that was what stood apart. That was the big sell point for me, is how InvestorCarrot websites actually outperform anything that I've ever been involved with, and I've been involved with them all. So yeah, and then so over the past year, my main focus over the last probably 6 to 9 months was really to take what you guys offer in InvestorCarrot and build it out, throughout my whole market, targeting the individual cities and towns and counties and so forth, with content landing pages that's focused around keywords, targeting specific areas, demographics, so on and so forth. And I would say over the past 4 months, I've really seen that kind of hit my critical mass, where I'm really starting to see results from the work that I did 6 months ago.
That's cool, and we're going to dive into some of that right now. And so people know you're up in New York.
I'm
That's
in
your
New York.
main market, and you've been going at it in the New York market with your website for since you joined, and now you're in Dallas for sure. And then you mentioned you're going to likely be going into another market, a third market soon.
Right, right.
And with all those, what's your main strategy for getting leads? And then guys and gals, we're going to dive into the cost per lead that David is able to get with inbound marketing, how it's happening. We'll show you kind of where the leads are coming from, and show you his websites, and show you kind of what he's done to make them really effective in his markets. But when you're going into a market like Dallas, let's say, are you doing anything other than the web stuff, or is the web stuff in conjunction with, let's say, postcards or direct mail, or what are you doing when you go into a market?
Well, just like when I made the decision to build up my market here online, I really I went all in on the online part, like building that up, and that was my focus. So I actually stopped doing direct mail. I went full blown into this. So that's my approach going into the other markets, is to take what I've learned and what I've done in the New York market, and essentially just replicating it, in any market. I mean, I could take this process and go into any market. I mean, I have some past clients from when I was doing investor websites, and I still do SEO services and consulting services for other investors. But now I only do those consulting services with investors who are using your platform, Trevor. And so one client, he's been ranked on #1 for We Buy Houses Miami, I think, for 4 years now, once he started working with me. And his lead generation online really dropped. And then I convinced him to move over to InvestorCarrot. And it was almost instantaneously when we made the shift that, his lead flow, kicked up again.
That's awesome.
So I forgot what your original question was.
No, yeah, me too, man. But I like where you're going with this. So, you mentioned that particular client anyway. He was already getting the traffic, so that wasn't a problem. But his website was not performing well. So this would be a good point to dive in and show people some stuff. Okay, so I'm actually on one of David's websites, and this website is it's a Carrot website, obviously, and he's done some things to customize it, not a lot. But the stuff that you've done on it, man, I really like. It's stuff to localize it, right? You've got a picture from New York back here. You've got your simple branding and logo up there, which looks great. You've got some testimonials, which is really good for helping to build credibility and that believability and trust factor when a seller or a buyer or what have you lands on your site. And then you've done some other customizations, but here's another one. You put in your bio, so that's on every page. That's big. And then last, you've got some content marketing going with blog posts and with what we call city-specific landing pages. Now, we don't have enough time to really dive into these strategies in particular on this case study. We have free trainings. We have premium trainings that are in the Carrot membership, and with free stuff that we just have out there that we'll do on a monthly basis. But why don't you kind of walk through what your process is when you're launching a site with Carrot as an example? What do you do to the website to kind of take it from the already optimized out of the box format we have, and then putting your touch on it so it's unique to you and it still performs well?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, I figure out what my top zip codes would be that I'm going to target, right, or cities and towns, right? And so, just simply lay those out on a notepad. Figure out what your 5 to 15 top areas are demographically, whether they're towns, cities, counties. So I have that on the side. And then diving into a new website, I mean, I want to keep my branding. This is just, my personal opinion, the same throughout all my websites. So, you see I have Sell Now Home Buyers with, which is, an idea that I came up with, which is trademarked, and I'm going to take that brand and take it into any other market that I choose to go into. So if I'm starting a market in Dallas, I'm going to take the same approach. Where in Dallas do I want to focus? It's going to be Dallas. It's going to be Fort Worth, other areas around there. I'm going to bring my branding over. Same logo, same colors. I'll get a local phone number set up. I'll definitely make sure that my social media links, everyone that you offer to link to, are set up. So my Facebook fan page, Twitter, YouTube, all those are high page rank type websites. So you're going to get some added, what I like to call, link juice and social proof, social signals from those websites. So use that to your advantage. I mean, if you don't have a fan page set up or a YouTube account set up, or a Twitter account, just set one up. You might not get a ton of leads specifically from those social sites, but the backlink, having a link from a high profile site like that back to your website, and then, well, it's more of an outbound link, right? But it's something that you should definitely leverage because it's there for you to leverage. And then I focus on basically the top keywords that maybe a motivated seller would be searching for on the internet. So that would be we buy houses, sell my house fast, sell your house fast. I like the cash for my house, and then always add that city-specific town or city or county, at the end of that term. So we buy houses, New York. Sell my house fast, New York, so on and so forth. And so I kind of build the entire layout of the site, around that.
I like it. And guys and gals, if you're watching this, whether you're an InvestorCarrot member or not, we do have training that teaches the exact things that David is mentioning. So if you're a Carrot member, guys, reach out to us and dive into the 3 lead per day training. We walk through everything that David just mentioned. If you're not a Carrot member, keep an eye out because we do free trainings each month. You can hop in there, ask questions, see we can help you, or cut the learning curve by using the same tool, support, and training that David and many other people have. So you've got the site right. Now you mentioned, okay, let's talk about how are you getting those leads? How are you getting those sellers? Because if I go over here, and I'm just going to do this really quick. So this is on one of your motivated seller sites here, and we'll blur that out. Those are actual real leads that are coming in. We don't want you all to be snapping up David's leads. So we're going to blur out that information. But look at this.
All those deals are closed.
Yeah. So right here, through one of your forms, 60 seller leads. Through another form, 59, and a bunch of them have filled out the more detailed one. And and so you've got a lot of seller leads coming in here. Are the majority of them coming from SEO? Or are you doing any pay-per-click? What are you doing to get those?
I have not done any pay-per-click on any of the leads that I've gotten through my website. Some of them, maybe 10%, or maybe from direct mail campaigns, but majority of them, 90%, are all organic rankings. So organic meaning, you're not paying for that positioning, right? That positioning is coming up naturally in the search engines. And to me, that's the best place to focus, because it gets them, being able to position yourself organically, say on the first page, you get a majority of the traffic, as opposed to paying for ads. So if I can outrank people organically, it's going to be to my benefit long term, obviously.
And I'm going to show really quick. So this is just one of the many phrases you're ranking for. So once again, I'm over here, and we're going to, if you guys are watching this video and you see something blurred out, we're blurring out the details of these motivated sellers. So you guys, so the number one, the seller's information is private, but also we're not showing you David's leads. But what we can show you is over here, this area where it's lead source. And I actually just added this to your site when we were talking. So now you have this lead source area over here, and you can see exactly where the leads came from. So this one came from a Google search, Yahoo search. That's direct. So that could be someone who had a postcard. It could be someone who already knew about you. It could be from a Craigslist ad. Google search. I mean, so you guys can see the majority of his leads are coming from people going to Google. Like as an example, here in New York, where he's at. Sell my house fast in New York. That's a phrase that we know people in New York are typing if they're looking to sell fast. And that's a very, very competitive market. And he's ranked, in the top 5 right there. And he's actually got 2 of the top 5. He's got 2 of the top 5 listings are his Carrot website. And actually, that's another Carrot member right there. Kind of funny. But so you're getting stuff there.
Which one's that? I gotta get rid of him.
Yeah, man, it's this JM Equity Recovery. He's ranked right there. He's mainly in Long Island though.
Okay. I just moved into that market as well. I'm actually going to target that. Uh,
So you can see here, Google is giving us a suggestion based on what we have typed in here, so we know for a fact that enough people type this in each month for it to matter. So I'm going to click this. I'm just curious to see what is going on here. I'm just going to open this up. This may or may not be a Carrot site. So that's a Carrot client. That's a Carrot client. And then let's see. Yeah, so it looks like you're just now moving into that market. You've got a little bit of work to do to get there. So
yeah, I just targeted a couple counties in that market, Suffolk and Nassau, and then I'll dial in more specifically, what are the hotter areas that people are buying in those markets, right? Working in reverse as far as trying to bring in motivated seller leads through the funnel and so forth.
I like it. So once again, guys, we're going into the step 2 form, this is where our system automatically qualifies the lead even more. And we're talking buyer leads, seller leads, whatever. One of the most important columns here is this one right here. Says, do you need to sell your house fast? And of course, you've got the people who mark yes. Some of them say no, but the majority of the ones in here are yes. And this is one feature a lot of people don't realize is in here. I'm just going to go ahead and click this lead. Same thing, we're going to blur out the information, guys and gals. But you can click this and click map it. And it's going to take you to an actual Google map within seconds where as long as Google has a street view for that property, you're going to be able to see the front of that property. You're going to be able to see the neighborhood of it within seconds of that lead coming in. So we can see right here, looks like the house is probably behind these trees. Somewhere, so they live in a little rural area. So within seconds, we can see, hey, this is the type of neighborhood they're in, and oftentimes they're in a neighborhood where we can actually see the house, and you can go up and down the street and things. That's kind of cool. Yeah. But now that we're talking about leads, let's kind of dive into some of the numbers, David, if you wouldn't mind. So before we hopped on this, we were kind of just rapping a little bit about about lead cost and how many leads you're pulling in before one turns into a deal and things like that. So why don't we share that with people watching this? So how many leads on average are you pulling in before one turns into a profitable deal for you right now?
All right, so right now I'm generating between like 5 to 7 motivated seller leads a week. And my stats for the past year have been, basically 1 in 20. Will turn into a deal. Direct mail could be upwards of 50 leads, or maybe even 100 leads, depending on the market that you're in, to get a deal. So my cost per lead is like $9 a lead, which might be the same as if you're doing direct mail. But where it really becomes, powerful is the cost per deal, right? So I think right now that's like $190. So it's basically, I guess you could look almost a little more than the cost of what it cost me to maintain, my subscription with you guys.
Yeah. So what do you profit? What's your average profit per deal right now in this market?
It ranges between like 10 and 15.
Uh-huh. So, and that's something, guys and gals. So if you're watching this, once again, if you're a Carrot member or not a Carrot member, what I really want to get across is return on investment. Okay, because so many people. And I'm so guilty of this myself with previous stuff that I've done in the past where I was always so focused on, okay, what's the expense? What is the expense I'm spending? And that's where I was focused on. Now, over the years, as I became more successful with my companies and started to hone my mindset and learn from mentors, they're like, what, the expense doesn't matter. It's what you're making at the end of the day. It's what your return on investment from that expenditure is. And with inbound marketing, of course, is exactly what we showed you there. Setting up a website that, number one, is really effective, guys. If you don't do that, if your website is not effective, if you don't have insanely great soil and you're trying to plant, let's say, a tomato plant, if you're just planting in barren soil, but you're still watering it, still fertilizing it just like you normally would, that plant's not going to grow very good. But if you take that same seed and plant it in like, Miracle Grow potting soil that you got from Home Depot and put the same amount of water and same amount of, fertilizer on it, it's going to grow really good. And the soil is your website. And that's the part so many investors get wrong is the soil. They think, man, I can start driving traffic or I can start ranking well on Google. Just like David mentioned with that Miami client, the guy was ranking well, but then his website stopped performing well. He switched over. He didn't have good soil, right? So then he switched over to Carrot, which has great soil to start, and then you can tweak it and customize it to make it fit you even better. Then that's like planting in Miracle Grow soil.
Right.
So on the ROI side of things, when you're talking 175 bucks per deal is about what you're investing in that, and that's in your market. That's with your skill because you've been in real estate a long time. You're actually a coach as well, so you know how to negotiate a deal. Now, someone who is a newer investor who's still trying to figure it out, maybe they might close fewer deals per lead, but they'll get it as they go. So your return on investment is basically it's a lot. I don't even know what that percentage is, but it's crazy. If you're netting $10,000, you add $9,825 into it, or I'm sorry, that's your profit basically from it.
Yeah, and that's not across the board. I mean, that's just specifically leads that come through organically online. Right, deals that come through, which is a majority of my business. I mean, it's about 90% of my business. I mean, it's crazy. And that's, anyone who's new or have had the platform for a while and you haven't kind of followed Trevor's guidance and his team's guidance as far as what to do and how to set it up, you're missing out. I mean, one of the things I constantly preach to students. I'm a coach at Real Estate Worldwide with Kent Clothier, and one thing that I talk about a lot is your competition is lazy. And so if you're going to take the time to set up a website, take the time to set up, like Trevor said, the right soil for that website. If you're going to get something like a GoDaddy, website tonight, I mean, you're wasting time, you're wasting money, you're wasting energy because it's not going to deliver what you think it might deliver. It's not going to bring you any leads. You need to really have the right platform to do that. And so inside here, you have the platform, you have all the training, and the next thing is actually to step up and take action into customizing it and building out these pages and doing the keyword research. And if you're not going to do it, learn a little bit of it and then find someone else to do it for you, right? But this is, to me, this is like it's a no-brainer. And to spend $1,200 a year to have 3 different websites, because I think that's like I get 3 websites with that investment each year. The return on that is huge. I mean, one deal that more than pays for itself.
Pays for like 10 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you have one of these websites, if you're already an existing member, take the time to set them up properly and do everything that's available to you as far as the training and resources and the back office.
And also, so here's kind of a mindset shift that I would love people to make sure that you make. Now, we did a case study call with Brittany Bowling a while ago. We're going to do an update call with her now because she had a really great year this year and last year. But one thing that she was really she really keyed in on in that first case study call with her was she said, because she's not a techie, she doesn't have the background that you have, and you don't have to be a techie to do this at all. You just have to follow the process. But she goes, I was looking for quicker results, and if you're looking to rank well in Google, especially for a city like Baltimore that she's in, it's not going to happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months or even 4 months to get a number 1 or number 2 ranking in that market. And for the inbound side of it, so we're talking ranking high in Google for competitive keyword phrases, guys and gals, that takes time. I mean, it's not going to happen right away for the bigger cities. Now, if you go into smaller cities, like a lot of your city-specific pages over here, those ones you can get ranked a lot quicker. Those can be ranked in weeks sometimes if you have a website that you've, a good platform and a good base to build on. Those can get ranked well in weeks sometimes, and then
sometimes days.
Yeah, exactly. And as you're implementing the right things, it hopefully increases in ranking. But about how long did it take you, David, from the time that, let's say, you first started implementing to getting a result in, let's say, the New York market, to get the ranking there and to get a consistent lead flow coming in?
Consistent lead flow happened probably within the first month. but it wasn't nearly what I'm generating now as far as daily or weekly leads. I might have had like one or two trickle in each week. But I was continually building, and to this day, right, I'm continually building out um, my website, adding additional content, targeting different towns and cities. So yeah, this is a long, I look at this as a very long-term play. Being able to not only one, give my company, uh, uh, a more credibility and authority in my marketplace, but over time, as I continue to rank and actually extend my footprint out, if you will, a little bit more. Um, when that happens and other people start to recognize that you're doing that type of thing, that's attraction marketing at its best, right? I mean, all of a sudden, not only sellers are going to be reaching out to you, but buyers and investors are going to be wondering, wow, what the hell is this guy doing? He's like, everywhere. And so that's a long-term play here, because I'd like to be able to, at some point, 10 years down the road, 15 years, 5 years, who knows what it is, to be able to sell, my company. And when I can do that and stating, hey, I'm generating X amount of leads a week, X amount of deals a year, here's my cost per lead, here's my cost per deal, this is what it's worth, that's a huge thing.
No, that is a huge thing, and that's one thing, guys and gals. We'll kind of get off of this topic, then we'll move along and wrap this call up. But the, adopt the return on investment mindset, adopt the long-term mindset, but at the same time, make sure that in the short term, you're still putting food on the table. So if you're a Carrot member, we do have training where you can learn how to get leads coming in, quickly. It's a lot easier if you do have some sort of a budget. Of course, pay-per-click can be a great way to get leads in many markets. And we did a case study call actually with Chris Campbell that is on the website, where his exclusive route is pay-per-click. He said, you know what? I'm in Cincinnati. He goes, I don't have the patience to do the SEO. He goes, I'm just going to start doing pay-per-click. And he was highly profitable because he sent this traffic to insanely great soil, a website that's going to convert well, that he can build upon. He doesn't have to tweak it. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to reinvent the wheel or become a conversion rate expert or any of that stuff. He just goes, let me throw my own little branding on it, put my bio on it, tweak up the content a little bit, and let's roll with it. So in the short term, as you're working on the SEO, especially if you're in a competitive market, follow our training, follow our guidance, and get some short-term things going in, some traffic coming in that way. And then over the long term, let the SEO and inbound marketing to snowball for you. And that's the spot that David's in right now. It is starting to snowball, because like you mentioned at the start, it was a couple leads a week. Now it's 5 to 8 leads a week, and he's closing. Sometimes many, multiple deals a month from those leads, which is amazing.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, I mean, and that's, one thing, I mean, just to add to that, I mean, that's the one thing about being able to generate leads from the internet, or, organically, or even if it's pay-per-click. I mean, I'd like to get into pay-per-click a little bit more, but my whole focus was to build this, organically first, and then kind of add that in. But something simple as far as if you're doing direct mail, make sure that your Carrot website, URL is, your domain name is, your website address is on those mail pieces, your business cards, because the websites are built really well, to capture leads. And, back to my original point here is with organically and getting leads directly off of, say, like Google search or Yahoo search, when people are typing in those specific keyword terms, they're automatically like pre-qualifying themselves as a really highly motivated potential lead for you to do a deal, as opposed to when you're doing direct mail, you're just kind of rolling the dice a little bit, right? And you're getting all these phone calls in, and you have to pre-qualify them over the phone. But online, they're almost pre-qualifying themselves. So by the time they fill out like the second lead part of the form, right, that we offer, like here's on the the main, what do you call that again? The big above the fold, the hero section. Yeah, I mean, once they fill out those 3 pieces, they get taken to a secondary form where they can enter more information. And when someone enters that, they take the time to fill out the rest of that, like that is a highly, highly motivated lead. And that's about leads that come from the internet, is they're just much more motivated. They're already pre-qualified.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up, because people, when we were talking about the cost per lead and the number of leads you're pulling in, or the number of deals you close per lead. Um, I think many people in the background might be going, okay, so why is that? Why are you
Right.
able to close more deals with fewer leads than with direct mail? And it's that exact thing that David mentioned, guys and gals. It's with direct mail, and we're not saying not to do it, man. If direct mail is working for you, keep doing it. Just stack on this web side of it to further grow your company. It's not either or. If this is working, keep doing it. Put that into a process, and then go, okay, let me scale my business up and get more deals and more profitable deals, okay, with the web stuff. It's going to take time, but make it happen. Now, it's with direct mail, you're trying to interrupt someone with, as in, I've got postcards, happen to have postcards on my desk, actually. So, you're like, you're one of 20, 30, 40, 50 postcards on someone's table, or yellow letters or whatever. And what happens is so many people are using the exact same list. They're using the exact same postcard oftentimes because they're not putting in the work to customize it. They're just going, hey, let me just get this and send the same darn thing to the same list everyone else is. So you might be closing one out of every 50 or one out of every 100 lead, like David mentioned, because it's not as qualified. You're interrupting the person in their flow to get them to try to pay attention to your message. With inbound marketing, with ranking well in Google, or getting great content in front of people on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, you're basically joining that conversation in their head. They're going to Google with a problem. They're saying, hey, I'm going through divorce in New York and I need to sell my house fast. And they're looking for a resource. They're looking for help. And then they find a website that answers that. It says, oh, here's, if you're going through this, here's how you can solve your problem. And oh, by the way, we can make you an offer in your house to alleviate that right away. And they're going, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now let me reach out to you to see how you can help me. So it's a totally different interaction with the inbound marketing, which David knows and he's experiencing, obviously, where the person, when they're reaching out to you, they're asking for help. They're not on this defensive mindset like many other types of marketing.
Yeah, it's a warm, very warm, lukewarm lead. They're like, please call me.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, they're
So
listening in.
I love it, man. So you're obviously doing good, and it's going to be amazing following you and seeing what else you do. And I know we're going to work together on some stuff. We keep talking about it now. Our team at Carrot's big enough to where I'm able to pull away and work on a lot of those projects that we've been talking about and doing some cool things together. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, to wrap this up, just straight up, and I usually don't do this on case study calls, but just straight up, man, let's kind of cut to the chase with people who may be on the fence about what they're going to do with their online marketing. They know that they want the result. They're like, okay, I know that I want to be able to attract sellers, buyers, tenants, rent-to-own tenants, note sellers, whatever it is, to my business in a more consistent way. I'm in it for the long term. I'm not a an impulse person who's going to be quote unquote trying it for a couple months and saying it doesn't work and going away. What would you suggest to someone if they were wanting to get started with online marketing? Maybe they're looking at Carrot, but they're also looking at other alternatives. They're looking at, well, shoot, why don't I just throw up a WordPress site and just hack through it myself because hosting is only $9 a month? Or why don't I go to Wix or GoDaddy and get one of their free accounts and throw something up there and quote unquote save some money? What would you say?
I would say do what you do best and figure out a way to outsource the rest, right? So, if you have no techie experience and you shouldn't be building your own website. I mean, WordPress is great, but I've had so much issues with WordPress in terms of, you set up a WordPress site, it looks great, maybe your leads are trickling in, then all of a sudden your site gets hacked and, it's down. And I've had that happen personally. I've had it happen to clients of mine. WordPress needs to constantly be updated. There's just a whole, hosting issues and plugin updates. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that could go wrong that you need to consistently maintain. And if you can avoid all that, I would avoid it when you can plug and play with and leverage systems. I mean, I'm a huge advocate of leveraging systems, both in terms of technology and in terms of leveraging other people. And so not only do I leverage the OnCarrot platform, but I'm also leveraging the team that you have there, and the skill sets that they all bring to the table as well. And it just takes a lot off my plate, right? All I need to worry about is following up with the leads that come in on a regular basis and follow the trainings that you guys provide and take action with it. And I don't have to worry about anything else. So that's what I would focus on.
I like it. So we'll leave with this. As you're going into different markets, you're going to be launching in Phoenix. What's your goal for this? I'm going to throw a kind of a push goal at you, man. What's your goal for this next year? What do you want to accomplish? And we're just talking the business side now. I know we usually talk a lot of family stuff at Carrot, and our core values are really about family a lot. But we're just going to do this one about business. What's your kind of a push goal for this next year for your business and what you want to do?
My goal is to be able to have the choice to not do any direct mail at all. And that would be just generating leads organically and via pay-per-click using the internet. To me, that's kind of where a lot of things are going. We're all plugged in. We're all constantly looking at our smartphones. We're all checking out Facebook, and becoming the expert at that, and really leveraging that in my business. So that would mean for me 12 to 24 deals here in my local market, so 1 to 2 a month, and then being able to do maybe 1 a month in any additional market on a co-wholesale basis that I'm going into.
Mm-hmm. I like it, man. Well, congrats on the success so far, and you're turning, of course, your knowledge. You came in with some knowledge with Carrot and implemented it, and we kind of just made it a little bit easier for you and more effectively, and you're turning that into well into the 6 figures in checks each year, which is amazing.
I just I had to scramble. I was about a half hour away before I had to get on the call with you, and I was having lunch with a partner of mine who I co-wholesale deal with, and I lunched because he was giving me a check for X amount of dollars, income disclaimer, but and it was an online lead. 4 out of the 5 last deals that I've done have all come through the InvestorCarrot website.
That's beautiful, man. So where can people connect with you if they want to reach out to you, if they want to learn more about what you're doing, that kind of thing?
Yeah, you definitely message me on Facebook, and you could go to my personal blog at runwithdavebrown.com. You can email me too, dave@sellnowhomebuyers.com, and be happy to help you out, give you some tips, share my knowledge, connect, whatever.
I like it, guys. So go to runwithdavebrown.com and check out his latest pursuits. And I think the name of the blog is very indicative of what a lot of it is. You picked up running the last couple of years, and I see you're all over that. And also just it seems like you've hit a new level in your life and business in the last year, which is amazing seeing that happen. So
yeah, see, if I wasn't in New York, Trevor, I'd be able to run like comfortably all year round. But like when the winter hits and it gets super cold, like it's hard to get outside in January and February and lace up the sneakers and want to go, run 3 to 5 miles. But
exactly. Well, shoot, guys, David, I appreciate it. Guys, check out David's website, runwithdavebrown.com. Connect with him, and also more than anything, don't just take this call that we just did and do nothing. Okay, so you got to make a decision. It's like, okay, I know for a fact I want to do something with the online to grow my business. That's the first decision, knowing that you want that result. Okay, the second decision is what are you going to do to get it? Now, are you going to go on your own and hack your way through it, learn how to do conversion optimization, learn how to set up a website right, and hope that you did, and then maybe a year down the road realize you didn't, and then you should have a year ago. If you want to go it alone, awesome. We have a lot of resources to help you with that. We're still here for you. Okay, but if you want to cut the learning curve, if you want to, no matter if you're a techie, no matter if you're not a techie. No matter if you're an investor who's done 2,000 deals, which we do have clients who have done that many deals, or someone who's just about to get their first deal done, but you've got an amazing mindset for the long term, we're here for you. So just reach out to us, go to oncarrot.com. That's oncarrot.com, and connect with us, see what we have, and see if it's a fit. David, thanks for joining us, man, and we'll talk soon, I know.
Yeah, three things: passion, patience, and persistence.
Passion, patience, persistence, guys. See you next time.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.